Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras. The Future Promises Foundation is a grassroots community organization that is empowering our youth here in Delaware. Joining us now is the executive director of the nonprofit, Verlin J Alexander III, who's going to share with us how his organization is making a difference in our community. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
I think this is a unique organization and we're going to get into it. But before we do, I want everyone to know a little bit about who Verlin is.
Okay. Well, I'm employed full-time with Wilmington University. I'm a career counselor in addition to an adjunct professor for both the undergraduate programs and one of the graduate level programs. Aside from that, I'm also a published author. I've written a fiction novel about 6 years ago. I'm a little overdue for the second book, but that's another project that I had worked on. And you know, apart from all that, I'm very involved in the community and just trying to do certain things and help out where I see the need at.
And that leads us right into your nonprofit organization. So instead of just doing your regular 9-to-5, working at Wilmington University, you had an initiative within your heart that you really wanted to expand on. So tell us a little bit about why you chose to start this nonprofit.
Okay, so I started the Future Promises Foundation in the early part of last year. And you know, a lot of us give back in the community and we do certain things, and I think starting the organization was an official way of making sure that we position ourselves the way that I had envisioned to position ourselves in the community. And you know, when we started, our mission is to inspire youth empowerment and social change through education, positive youth development, and leadership. And all of our programs, our community outreach, we try to make sure that everything ties back to our mission and just reaching the community. So you know, we have a number of programs that we rolled out into some of the schools in Wilmington, in addition to just different community outreach within the city as well.
And before we get into the programs, Verlin, I know you have an interesting story in regards to how you started the nonprofit. So as in any entrepreneur, it takes capital, right? It takes funding.
It definitely takes capital and funding.
You wouldn't think of that when it comes to a nonprofit, but can you share with us the story behind how you actually started the nonprofit? I think it's interesting and people should know the sacrifice that you took in order to start this organization.
Absolutely. So starting the nonprofit, again, you would assume that because it's a charitable type of situation that it's really an idea and you get it started, but it does take funding. It takes capital. You know, we have an office location on Union Street, which there is a lease payment every month. So basically what I did was, you know, I looked at all of my resources and I had a motorcycle that I really love to ride a lot, but you know, it's seasonal. And I decided to go ahead and sell my motorcycle, and I also had a 2004 Dodge Durango. I love that also. You know, I purchased that vehicle when I had my first child because I had a two-door car, and you know, trying to get children inside of a two-door car is very difficult. But so I sold that, I sold my motorcycle, I sold my truck. And in addition to that, I also do graphic and web design on the side. So I took on so many creative projects just to build up enough money to open our doors, to fund our programs, to kind of kickstart us in the position that I wanted to go into. So, you know, it was a sacrifice that I think was worth it. You know, we don't always look at receiving a monetary reward. It's really, you know, I had a vision, I had an idea, and sometimes it takes those type of sacrifices to bring those ideas and vision to fruition.
I want to talk a little bit about mentoring, because I do know within your startup here with the nonprofit, you've revealed to me before that you did have some mentors that kind of helped you along the way to guide you when you started this organization. So how important is that, and what kind of benefit did you receive?
It's extremely important, you know, to have the right people around you. And when I started the nonprofit, I had no idea, you know, outside of wanting to do it, really what to do. I had no idea about the bylaws or you know, certain requirements that would be placed on me to start the organization. So I reached out to Kevin Evans, one of my fraternity brothers. He also helped kickstart our nonprofit within the fraternity, the New Friendship Outreach. And he sat down with me. He said, you know, let's meet at lunch. And I think we went to TGI Fridays. And we had to sit down for probably the better part of 2 hours. And he said, you know, bring me all of your information. Bring me, you know, your mission, your vision. Bring me the name of your organization, what you're trying to do. And we sat down and went line by line through every single thing. You know, he said, okay, this is what you need. This is what you're going to need in your bylaws. This is how you're going to need to set it up. And these are the steps in place to make sure that you do it the right way. You know, so having mentors and having people around you that you know, in theory, they are smarter than you. Having people around you that are smarter than you, having people around you that have experienced it, I think is definitely the best way to go with starting any, whether it's a nonprofit or any business. And, you know, I credit him because without his guidance, this organization wouldn't be anywhere near where it is today.
And with him giving you that vision, it kind of goes hand in hand with your logo. It's, he actually has helped you birth this organization, but your logo is very unique in itself as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the logo and how you went about choosing that?
So our logo went through 3 different revisions. The first one, you know, it's the idea of planting seeds. You know, when we look at our youth and we look at our interactions with our youth and our involvement, you know, everything that we do from the conversations we have to, you know, giving them certain things is a seed that we plant. So the idea with our logo is really, you know, you have a child and you plant that seed and you watch them grow and flourish. And I remember when we got to the second phase of our logo, I was very thrilled with it. And my mother says, great logo, but you're going to change it one more time. And, you know, when mom says certain things, it's kind of like, oh boy, Ma, you just kind of messed me up a little bit. But I ended up just recently, you know, going through rebranding and just trying to redirect, making sure we're sticking to what we're set out to do. Just kind of redesign the logo a little bit, still keeping the same elements. But the idea of the logo, again, is you plant that seed and you watch the children take from what you're planting into them and grow. You know, you're planning for them to grow into fruitful individuals who will take everything that you're putting in them and use them for the positive in life.
And let's talk about the Future Promises Foundation. What is this organization?
So our organization, for the most part, we develop community outreach and youth development after school type programs. And education is the foundation of our organization. So, you know, and I think we talked a while back, and we see so many things on the news, from articles to, you know, hearing all of the bad things about Wilmington and, you know, some of the violence that's going on and, you know, just things that are happening with our youth. And our organization is trying to highlight the good parts. You know, we're trying to make sure that the situations that have happened don't keep happening. And we develop programs and we remain an active part of their lives with our programs, and hoping that what we instill in them, you know, they will and then turn and make better decisions and have better opportunities overall.
And what age group do you target with your programs?
Our age group, I can tell you with one of our programs, we serve as young as 4 years old and up to about 13.
Okay. And let's get into a little bit about Bancroft. I do know that you've had a program over there as well.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Bancroft, I had reached out to, I think her name is Miss Angela Ringgold, Eastside Community Schools Partnership. And I reached out to them last year, and, you know, I said, I have this idea, I want to start this chess club program. And she probably responded back within 24 hours. And her first question is, when do you want to do it and how much is it going to cost us? You know, and we put the program together at no cost to the school, no cost to the parents. We put the program together, and we started the program, I believe, mid-October. And the one key thing that we wanted to make sure when we put this program out was that it wasn't a 7-week or a 10-week or 12-week program. One of our main, I guess the way we function is to make sure that we are consistent with the children that we serve. You know, I believe that we can put so much in front of them, so much information, and we try to help them so much. And, you know, at the end of a 7-week program, they're going back to the rest of their lives. They're going back to school as usual, which means everything that we put in them could potentially be lost. So we ran our program from October to pretty much the end of the school year. Wow. And it was Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. And, you know, the Young Leaders Chess Club, it was a different type of program for a different demographic or different group. You know, we're dealing with children, and, you know, trying to get them to sit down and focus was very difficult. As you know, you have children, I have trying to get them to focus on, you know, a single thing, a lesson is very difficult.
Anything other than video games,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. But, you know, once we really got into them, what we're trying to do, they learned that there is a difference from checkers and chess. And then we, you know, on the back end of, you know, from teaching them the game of chess, we're teaching them the principles. You know, what are we trying to get from chess? What are we trying to instill within you from this game of chess?
Yeah, I do remember you were saying something about you want to make sure that when you're teaching them the chess, how to play chess, you're also giving them aspects in life that they're going to have to learn how to have a strategy for as well. So can you touch on that too?
Yeah, so the idea with the Young Leaders Chess Club is teaching them critical thinking, logical reasoning, decision-making skills. You know, we could have started middle school or even high school, but, you know, we figured start them young when they're sponges. They can retain more and start them at the age where when they transition into middle school or high school, that they have the foundation of being able to decide, should I do this or should I do that, and then understand the consequences behind it. Within our city and within our demographic, conversations change. Their environment is different, so they're exposed to a lot more than, say, children who are not stricken with the same issues. So given that, we feel as though teaching them these skill sets now, teaching them how to decide, okay, I have a friend who gets in trouble a lot. My mother doesn't like them, but I want to hang out with them. Do I decide to hang out with them, or do I decide not to? And if I don't hang out with them, what are the reasons for that? So our program, outside of teaching them what a pawn does, what a rook does, or a bishop or a knight or a queen, what they do is teaching them how each piece you can basically equate to something in life. A pawn can be something, a queen can be something. What piece do you protect? What piece do you sacrifice? What piece can you go without? And then what is your overall strategy? How are you going to get these pieces from this side of the board to that side? How are you, ultimately going to win?
And it's teaching them patience too as well, because we all know
Yes.
chess is not a 2-minute game.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
That's incredible, and I do like the fact that you're targeting them at a very young age, because it's going to give them some type of structure in life when they do know how to not only play the game, but play the game of life, and that's
Yes.
very important to try to tackle that at such a young age. So you, like you said, you don't run into so many hardships.
Right.
Not everyone is given the same opportunities in life. Not everyone is brought up within the same environment. Unfortunately, you do have some kids that could steal in school and take something and go home, and then the kids who don't, and then they kind of influence one another, or it could be
Absolutely.
bullying. I mean, there's so much that's going on nowadays with the younger generation, but the fact that you're incorporating a program like this within Bancroft, that's very important. So
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
very.
And also, I do know that you have another program that is catering towards African Americans. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
One of our pushes for this school year is to increase literacy amongst at-risk youth, and that could be from any age. You could be from preschool up throughout high school. And what we're doing is, it's called our Right to Read program.
Okay.
It's still in development stages, but the idea behind it is to increase both reading, writing, and the art of storytelling. And in doing so, have your parents sit down with children and just write. Write. We've partnered with a number of illustrators who are going to help bring these visions to life and really tell these stories. And one of the key elements to the program is the children and the parents will actually end up with a finished product, which will be a published book. And the idea behind it, or at least the project, came about when, and you mentioned earlier with the video games. My 7-year-old son, he was upset one day because he tried to get onto some video game and it wasn't working. So I just said to him, go write about it, write a story. And he took it to heart. I didn't expect him to, but he's coming up to me later. He has a laptop and he's saying, "Daddy, how do you spell this word? Daddy, how do you do this?" And I'm saying, "What are you doing? I forgot I told him." And he comes back and I'm reading the story, and it's once upon a time in the land of Fortnite. And I'm
Which is like the most popular game right now.
Exactly. So, I'm saying he really took this to heart, but it also showed me that there's so much creativity in our children that we get so caught up into letting them play the video games, letting them watch TV, until we kind of squeeze that creativity out of them. When you open that little window or that door enough for them to say, okay, what can I imagine? This entire room can be imagined in a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old, and they can build buildings with their imagination. They can, create so many different things, and this program is going to be a way of allowing them that platform to be creative, and also allowing the parents to be creative. There are so many parents that have ideas, that may want to write a story about an experience that their child went through that could help somebody else.
And I love this literacy program. I mean, we can't even really express on screen right now what this program is, but I mean, to the best of our ability, it's really you sitting down, the creative designer, sitting down with this young child, 4 or 5 years old, right? And the parents there to give some guidance. But my favorite part is that this child's waking up with this dream of, I want my own book. I want to be an author. And you actually have that creative designer who's sitting there and illustrating the characters and drawing them into a character that this demographic age group is attracted to.
Exactly.
So now it's like they have this idea, they're seeing it come to light, and now it's in a physical form. And to me, that's major, because that's letting our children know here in Wilmington that not only are you literate, not only can you be an author and a minority, you have your own book now that you can also sell should you choose to be an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
So there's so many different aspects that you're tackling with these 4 or 5 year olds. And that's the key part here that I want to hone in on with the literacy program. So can you tell us a little bit about your choice in making sure that it's a physical form, a physical book, as opposed to ebook? Because nowadays everyone's going on Amazon and making their books electronic, and you can just read on your iPad. But like you said, the importance of making sure that you say, no, this is what you've created, and this is your product now. Not only can you take it home and show it to your family, but you can also sell it if you want to.
Exactly.
How important is that?
It's very important. I mean, again, it's nothing like having something that you can sit back and say, this is what I did. This is what I created. And
you're an author yourself too.
Exactly. So I know what it feels like to be able to look back, and we have so many things we try to do in life, and to be able to look back and say, this is something that I started, this is something that I finished, and regardless of what time period I am in my life, this will always be something that I've done, something that someone else has access to, someone else can read, or someone else can pick up. So, you imagine that for a child to be able to go to school, and as they're going through the school library or books in their classroom, they can say, this is a book that I did, and in some cases, more importantly, this is a book that looks like me.
Right.
And I think that's equally important, because when you're in certain elements, there are not a lot of representation, across some of these platforms. And I believe that the children who will have the opportunity of creating these stories, of having these books done, ultimately will be a huge benefit to them.
That's powerful. And what other initiatives does your organization have as well? We have the chess program at Bancroft. We have the literacy program. Are there other initiatives that Future Promises does?
We're currently working on developing our peer leadership mentoring program. We've been developing that now for about a year. I mean, once we started, the idea started well before our founding date. But we want to make sure that it's not a program that's going to duplicate something that someone else is already doing. We're trying to make sure that what we do has that element of consistency. It also has that peer element where the individuals participating can set goals and move throughout those goals throughout a certain period.
Right.
We don't want to just, not to speak on any mentoring program, because I believe any mentoring program is great. But in our case, I didn't want to position us to where we're talking to youth and we're saying, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. We want to provide tools of saying, okay, you can do this. Now this is how you're going to do it, and this is what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Walk them through the entire process from start to finish. And then, given how we began with, I mentioned Kevin Evans with the Pay It Forward, kind of backing up a little bit, when I asked him, I said, well, this was a lot of time you put in. How much do you want to get paid for this? Because I want to pay you. Right. And his only response was pay it forward. So we adopt that mentality within everything that we do, and we try to make sure if we're putting this skill set into you, we're giving you this this mentoring opportunity, or giving you these nuggets, planting these seeds. Right. We really only ask you to pay it forward.
And it speaks volumes to the law of giving and receiving. So not only did he give you a blessing with the amount of knowledge that you needed to start your nonprofit, it is now also being a blessing to all the children who are involved as well. So let's talk about the backpack giveaway.
Yes.
I do know that you had one last year, and you reached like 500 kids.
That's our goal this year. So we reached probably around a little over 300 last year. Now our goal was to reach about 100 last year. So it was our first event. We worked with a number of organizations, Sky Point Churches, also where we've leased our space from. But they opened up their parking lot to us and said, this is a great idea. Sure.
A lot of people showed up.
And I'm sure we missed the count on a few of them. But our goal was, again, about 100 youth. And before we looked up, the numbers were coming in. And the other thing we did was we decided to canvass the entire neighborhoods. Okay. So we didn't rely solely on getting the information out through Facebook or social media. We went door to door. I had my team get together, we walked through the neighborhoods. And
it's very strategic because you actually have a printed out map that you give to all your volunteers.
Yes. So we have a printed out map with certain locations that, okay, this is what we're going to target between these hours. We'll actually be out today. So as soon as I leave here, we'll be canvassing some neighborhoods, and again on Friday. But we try to reach about 100. We had over 300 that showed up. And we provided backpacks, school supplies. We also had haircuts. We had hair braiding, water ice. A good friend of mine was on the grill making the hot dogs and hamburgers, and it turned into, and also the moon bounces, which you can't see in this picture, but it turned into a really, really great and fun day. So we're going to be having that again this Saturday.
And how important is it to provide this opportunity to inner city youth who might not have the ability to get a book bag with school supplies?
It's important because, again, we do ours a little differently. But the idea behind having the book bag drive and the way we set it up, we'll have the book bags on one table, and then we'll have the supplies on the table following. So the idea with that is we want you to be very involved throughout the process. We want them to be able to go to the table and say, no, Mom, I want this book bag. I want the pink one with the, the little unicorn on it. So you want them to be able to do that. You also want them to be able to select, what supplies do I want in my book bag? Do I want the red composition book or the purple one? So giving them that opportunity, I think is very rewarding, because I remember when I was young, I was packing some of the paper yesterday, and I'm remembering the smell of it. I'm remembering what it felt like. And I think we just really want the youth to have that experience as well.
And it's myself there helping out. I was just so taken away about the outpour of support. Like, you didn't buy all these materials yourself.
Not at all.
You had a lot of people who donated the glue, and then you have a variety, not only the glue, but the glue sticks and the pencils and the rulers, and I mean, just all of these things that these kids, probably parents, wouldn't have access to. Who were some of the people that donated? Even when we were there was a woman who came and had a box. I was just like, this is so incredible.
Yep.
So talk a little bit about your donations.
So we've partnered with Girl Track in Delaware. That's one of our big donors. And I meant to send you photos on that, but they packed over 100 backpacks.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to be bringing those on Saturday. We've also partnered with Jack and Jill of America, Best Buy on 202. Bank of America contacted us recently and said, hey, we see what you guys are doing. I can tell you one of the most rewarding messages I've received. We had an email from a gentleman named Kent St. Pierre. Okay. And he said, I came across your article in the News Journal, which I had no idea we had an article in the News Journal. But it was basically an update on the book bag drive. And, if you want to get involved, here are some of the ones that are happening in the city. And he said, I went through the article, I went through your website, I read everything up about you and about the program. And he said, I'm very nervous with giving in this climate, in this political climate. You give and you really never know where your donation is going. He said, but I'm going to bet on you and I'm going to bet on your organization. So he sent us a very large donation, and he said, I'm trusting that you're going to be and do what you said you're going to do. And again, I thought it was a joke because, you receive all these spam emails and so on and so forth. But 2 days later, we received a check. So we were able to then go purchase hundreds of backpacks, more supplies than we expected, which basically helped us feel more comfortable with reaching the number that we want to reach. And because I do believe that, the worst thing that can happen to some, and I know it happens in any situation, is someone may come and say, I'm here at 2:30, but all the book bags are gone. Okay. We don't want that to happen.
So what do you do in that case? If it does happen, do you take their name and then
we
get
do
one
take
provided?
their name. We're also in discussion right now to partner with the Peace on the Streets that's happening next week.
Oh, okay.
So whatever we aren't able to hand out this Saturday, we'll also be handing out at the Peace on the Streets event.
Okay, wonderful. And these volunteers that come out, what are any feedback that you hear from volunteers, from the kids? What are some of the things that you're hearing?
I can tell you the families, they absolutely love it. They love it because outside of having the Back to School Festival, or at least the book bag element, we want to make sure it's a community event.
Right.
So we have families that bring their children out, and there's really a day where they may say, 15 minutes in the moon bounce is 15 minutes I get to myself. It's 15 minutes that I can eat my own hot dog. Exactly. So,
or I can eat, my child wouldn't want to eat my food.
Exactly. So the parents really, really enjoy it. The children, they love it. Our volunteers, we have some of the best volunteers. They donate their time from early in the morning until, the event is over. And they're basically saying, whatever you want us to do, just let us know. And last year, I didn't even have to tell them what to do. I look up and they've already had the registration table set up. They're already positioned, everywhere they need to be positioned. And I'm just like, how did this happen?
Oh, that's
But
great.
it really comes down to passionate people backing a vision.
A team. It takes a team, really.
It definitely takes
together.
a team.
And we didn't talk about your team. I know we were able to meet Tempest, and we were talking about the power in having a team and making sure that you hire the right people,
Yes.
especially for a nonprofit and a startup nonprofit. You want to make sure that you're attracting the right-minded people that are
Absolutely.
working with these children. So talk a little bit about your team and who's involved and how important it was for you to find these type of people.
So we have a team of about 8 now, if I'm not mistaken. And that's between both the administrative, creative staff, in addition to our after-school program. And last year was a learning year for us of what we needed and what type of personalities meshed well. And this year it was trying to make sure that whoever we had coming in new fit with our vision of what we're doing, but also had a passion to do it.
Okay.
It's more than just having someone who wants to work and having someone who just wants to be there. It's really just having someone with a passion. So we have, again, 7 people that's working for us. Tempest, who you spoke with, she's one of our community outreach and our volunteer coordinators. And she came in and said, I love what you guys are doing, and I want to help. Whatever resources I can pull together, whatever I can do, that's what I want to do. But, in addition to that, what I will say is the team, for me, is what makes our organization successful. I have ideas, I have visions, but without the right team to get that across, or without the right team to say, okay, I'm going to take what you just told me and then I'm going to see what else I can do with it. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make this into something else. Without having that type of team in place, the idea is simply just an idea, and it goes nowhere.
And with the idea, I wanted to go back to the book and the gentleman that you hired for as a creative designer who's helping these children see their book come to light. Can you talk a little bit about who that person is? And because as we know in this industry, I mean, come on, we work in the media industry, it takes a lot of money to pay a creative designer who is making a book that's not only 2 pages long, it's a few pages, and it's a gentleman who's drawing out each single page. Can you tell us a little bit?
Yep, we actually have 3.
Okay.
We have three illustrators within our creative team, and that's the other thing with each book. We try to make sure that they're at least 24 pages. And this is a way that, so our entire process, we make sure it's 24 pages because we also help the author get everything published online. So we work with Amazon's Create Space, and that's how they're able to publish their book, whether it's print or digital. But the illustrator, we have one of our main illustrators, and she's already illustrated about 4 books for parents within our program, is Ashley Narvell.
Okay.
And the one that you actually saw the day you came, that was her illustration.
Wonderful.
And she's phenomenal. She's phenomenal. She will take your story, and she does everything by hand.
I saw that.
Which
It
is
takes time
really
and
unique.
detail.
Very unique, very detailed, and she sketches everything out. And she's done about 3. And then we also have Sean, forgive me for not remembering his last name, but he goes by Excel the Artist. And he's one of our really good digital artists. He does phenomenal work with, Photoshop and kind of the illustrations that you may see in comic books.
Okay.
That's the type of work that he does, and he's working on a few projects now. And then we also have Brianna John, and she's one of our newest illustrators, and she does outstanding work. I mean, she does 3D animation. She does a lot of great work. So being able to pull together that team to understand that this is our vision, this is what we're trying to do. We have parents who want to do certain things. We have children who, they want to create superheroes. How do they do it? And we're able to sit down with them and say, okay, this is what we can do. This is what we can put together.
That's amazing.
And it's
because
really,
the world that we live in, you can create the superhero today, and tomorrow it could literally be a movie.
Exactly.
That's like how Harry Potter and Twilight, that's how all these movies started. It was a dream, they thought about it, wrote the book, and the next thing you know, it's in the film.
It's there, yeah.
And you're starting that, you're birthing that idea at such a young age.
Absolutely. It's creativity, and like you mentioned, entrepreneurship, because, outside of them creating the book, they may say, well, Mom, we can make, some money off of this. We can help.
Right.
And it's a way of creating that opportunity for them. We basically give them every opportunity to have a published book and to also have that product. Okay. So they're then able to take it and sell it or keep it or hand it out to family and friends, but they will always have that book or that product once it's completed.
That's amazing, Verlin. And is there a place that you go to select these staff members? Because everyone's paid. This is a full-blown nonprofit 501c3 certified organization, so there's no games here.
Not at all.
None at all. But
Not
is there like
at
a
all.
selection process, or do you leverage your relationship with the Wilmington University? How do you go about selecting, in case if there's people who are thinking about, hey, I would like to join that organization, or if not become a staff member, but volunteer because I have a passion for inner city youth and I want to help them in all those aspects as well?
So we use a lot of different outlets. So a lot of it, we posted information on our website, and we received a lot of feedback from, people who were overall just interested in doing the work. Of course, with me being at Wilmington University, I will look for students with certain skill sets. I meet a number of students who are saying, I would like to do X, Y, and Z, but I'm having a hard time finding opportunities. I'm having a hard time, getting that experience. So, and I will look at different outlets for them to get that experience. And, if I come across one who may say, I want to do digital design and, what can I do with that? I'm able to provide them the resources, whether it's through something that we're doing or another organization, to do so. But we use every possible outlet from every art school, from every organization that does graphic or web design or digital media.
And is there a possibility for internships as well?
Absolutely.
Because I can only think of the nonprofit sector, the entrepreneurship, and you got the economic side that you can teach these young
academic, the
interns.
education. So definitely room for internships, and we've opened that up, and I've actually met with the representative from our social and behavioral science department at the university who, came across our information through Facebook or our social media, and they said, this is a great opportunity to have students intern.
Okay.
Students that, whether it's behavioral science based or education programs, but a way of getting them that internship credit, but also the experience with working with children.
And the one thing I love about this is that you're right here off of Union Street.
Yes.
So it's like you're in the heart and center of the city, like not too far out, not too far in, but it's right there where people can access your resources.
Yes.
And so how important was it to find a location in Wilmington as opposed to somewhere out in Newcastle County?
Well, it's funny you asked that. When we first started, our initial building was in Bear. So it was off of Bear Corbett Road, and it was an opportunity that presented itself, and I said, let's go for it. We had the property for about a month, and there were some zoning issues with the property that we didn't know about, so we ended up having to leave. Okay. And I look at that as, everything does happen for a reason. And the moment that happened, I just happened to go on Craigslist one day, and I see a listing for a office space in a church in Wilmington. And I've looked there many of times before, and I've never seen this property. I've never seen that listing. But when I saw it, I reached out to the pastor of the church, and he said, just from the voicemail of your organization alone, I would like to meet you. Okay. And we ended up moving into our Wilmington location a month after we left Bear. And for me, I looked at it as our reach was always Wilmington. Our reach and our goal was always to serve this population. So being in Bear made no sense at all.
Right.
So
and these are the kids that need it the most.
Exactly. We can't have children coming from Wilmington all the way to Bear to say, hey, I need help.
Right.
So us moving into Wilmington was probably one of the best decisions, and easily accessible to everyone in the area. A lot of the people who came to our backpack festival last year, they walked. And that's because we went door to door in the neighborhoods that are right next to us.
Okay.
They were able to walk, and they were able to enjoy the entire day.
Wow, Verlin, you have a very inspiring journey here that you've taken, and I'm glad that you took the initiative because, it's really hard, especially if you've been so focused on being an employee and your mindset hasn't changed to the other side of being an entrepreneur, and especially with a nonprofit, because let's face it, everybody wants to make money,
Right.
Right. So deciding to not actually profit from this and giving back to the community that you actually live and serve in is very important and vital. Very good.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So but before we leave, is there anything else that you would like to share with us in regards to your organization as a whole?
I would just like to share that we're here, and our focus is primarily within our youth and helping to develop programs that we feel will help kind of redirect the focus of how our youth are perceived, both in their current state and as well as what's expected of them as they get older. So the Future Promises Foundation, again, our mission is to inspire youth empowerment and social change through education, positive youth development, and leadership. So those are kind of our three pillars on what we build all of our programs on. So, anyone that is interested in participating or donating or being a part of the organization, we fully welcome any type of involvement.
And that's important because it is a tax write-off.
Yes, absolutely.
Since you're certified, got to throw that out there, right?
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations on all your success,
Thank
Verlin.
you so much.
This is
Thank
a
you.
very needed organization. I'm glad that you took the opportunity to serve the Wilmington youth here.
Thank
So
you. I
thank
really
you for
appreciate
that.
it.
Thank you. And
Thank
best
you.
of luck on everything else that you're going to be doing here in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. And don't go away. We have more of In Focus when we return.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Talk to Dad.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras, and joining us now are two individuals who are affiliated with Wavlab Studios, a music label and now publishing company, and one of its only newest artists is also here with us. So we have the owner here, Geronimo, Vannicola, and Kai Shut It Down Davis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about Wavlab Studios, how it started.
Okay, so originally it was back in 2012. I linked up with another local producer named PC Beats, Problem Child. We just had a good relationship. I saw his talent and I was interested in the business, so we literally got a space in Wilmington. We rented it out and just started getting it done. Cooking up the music, meeting. He had a clientele already and working with music, and I was good with like business and meeting people and networking.
Right.
So we just put the energy together and we just smashed it from there.
And how did you start your organization? Because obviously with any entrepreneur, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to leave the regular 9 to 5 and start
Right.
my own thing. How did that happen?
All right, so so I used to work at Boston Market. I was a manager there, and like I noticed how much value I was bringing to Boston Market. Like, you know, customers would come in and bring a smile to their face, like they were happy, and I was like, okay, if I can do that for an organization outside of, you know, myself, then
Right.
I could do this for myself. But it was just hard because I didn't really have any background in like business or anything like that. So just learning stuff from scratch, passion drove me and
Okay.
motivation. Because usually when I was working at Boston Market, you know, I was working another job or another situation. So balancing has always been a thing for me. But after a while, you just learn to say, you know what, if I don't take a leap, if I don't jump, I'm not going to make it regardless. So,
That's right.
you know.
And now you have an artist.
Yes.
Your focus is now.
Yes.
Yes.
And this gentleman that's here, like Kai Shut It Down Davis, a lot of people may not know who you are. You did start here in Wilmington, and you started at the Hick Center too. You're a boxer, professional boxer. Let's get into a little bit about who you are before we get into the artist side.
Who am I?
Yes.
I would say I'm the type of person that just go get it, no matter what it is or what field that I'm in. I started boxing at a really young age, and my dad took me to the gym like 8 years old. I just got good at it. I'm usually good at a lot of things that I do because I just kind of put my all into it. And I mean, music, it's in everybody. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like music, then I don't know how we can even relate. And I feel like everybody loves music.
We have a heartbeat.
So,
Right, we talked about it too, with music is a language for most people.
yeah, definitely. So, I mean, if you ask me who am I just think like I'm an awesome person.
Well, let's talk about Kai, the boxer.
Okay.
So what made you get into that field?
Like I said,
and-
my dad took me to the gym at 8 years old. I didn't like it. I'm just gonna be real with you. I didn't like boxing at the start. Not until I started getting good. Around 12 years old, I started going to the national teams and going out and traveling. That's when it got fun. to reap the benefits of all your hard work, and you just having a bunch of fun, you know, with the hard work that comes with it. And I realized when you work hard and you do something, you can have a bunch of fun, and that's what I'm about. Like, if you're around me, you know, anybody who knows me knows that I like to have fun, and part of having fun is you got to do the work first. And I put that in boxing, I put that in music, I put that in anything. I'm a personal trainer, and I got a lot of things going on. And you know, people ask me like, how do you do it all? And I be like, man, I just don't sleep, literally.
Right.
I got to grind. It makes me feel alive when I'm doing something.
And you're from Wilmington, Delaware, correct? And you're like on Fox Sports and Showtime.
Yeah, right.
Like, tell us a little bit about that.
So in the boxing world, people know me. People in the boxing world, I go to events, they're like, hey, Kai, shut down, da, da, da. They know me. People in the neighborhood, they know I box. Everybody know I box. What's crazy is I started getting like, I was serious into the music. People be like, oh, you still fighting? People can't see how I do both.
Right.
Like, how can you have time to train and then make music? That's like, it's two different lifestyles. Well, you know, I just make it happen. And first I wanted to be like, separate the two, but now it's like, I'm me, and I want you to like me for me and everything that I do. And I'm gonna make a hot song, make a video, get a bunch of views, perform, and then I'm gonna knock somebody out at the end of the night. Like, that's what I want to do. You know,
flick of the switch, right?
Yeah, that's right. The flick of the wrist. You know what I'm saying? It's like, seriously. And that's how I want to do it. I want to make it so like, it's like, yo, how does they do it? How do they have so much time? And I'm a good looking, so the ladies love me, and then it's a whole bunch of situations. There's a lot of stuff going on. You know?
It's this confidence that got me.
I see. He's very confident.
That's cool.
Now let's talk about the energy, because the two of you guys, I mean, we had the opportunity to come to your studio. By the way, congratulations on that space too,
Thank
Geronimo. Very nice space. And I was just blown away, because it's not like Allen Iverson trying to drop some bars, right? Like, Kai's really good, and one of my favorite songs is Heartbreak.
Don't come at Allen Iverson.
We love Allen.
Oh my God.
We love him. But what I'm saying is, like, you have some basketball players who think that they can switch into the rap game, and they're a great. It's like pick one thing to master, right? Pick one craft to master. So I'm not knocking Allen. We love Allen. He's a legend.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you actually switched and you're able to be successful in the artist industry as well.
Yeah.
And so that is the biggest thing when I came to your studio that took me back. First of all, the ability for you, this was a great opportunity. The ability for you to start right here, Geronimo. Talk to us about the process, because everything is from scratch for you.
So like, looking at this space, like, it's crazy, because like when we moved in, like, you know, like the live band room in the other studio, like, we expanded to that.
Right.
That wasn't even there. So we literally I had to like negotiate a deal with the property owner to literally cut a hole in the wall, build the barn doors, because that was a real estate company next to us, and they just took the garage. They kept the garage and they let us get that. It was a wrap from there. Like, I started, after I got that space, like it went from me having like, you know, 50 people in the studio to like 150, 200 people now.
Right.
And now I can, you know, record in 2 different spaces. He can record himself, you know, when I'm not there. He can, like, you know, get some reference tracks down. I can come in, mix and master. Like, it just expanded the situation. And now other artists and producers come in, they rent the space, you know. So for me, like, putting my effort into that, it becomes our studio. That's our studio. Wavlabs is ours. Like, I might have like founded it and built it, but I can't do it without the support of my clients, like some of my corporate contacts, like people that have helped me along the way. So it's so exciting. Like, I can't believe I'm actually doing it. I'm just
still doing it.
Freestyling. I'm really.
And that's one thing I admire about Wavlab Studios, because you're actually providing a platform for our local artists here in Wilmington, throughout Delaware, Tri-State area. You're letting them know that here you have a studio that's going to allow you to not only give your voice, your platform, say the message you want to deliver, but it's good music. It's like really great music. Let's talk about a little bit of your partnerships. Like, I've known you worked with MTV, Viacom, Love and Hip Hop. Like, I don't know if a lot of people know your story.
Well, you know, it's crazy. Like, I've noticed, like, especially when it comes to producers, like the biggest component is making sure your business is set up. So having like your BMI, your ASCAP, having a publishing company, having all these things that make sure that you get paid for the content that you put out. And a lot of my clients don't have that. So that's like a necessity. Like, when I work with them, I'm like, listen, don't worry about the fame right now. You try and get a check, like get to the money because you're putting in the work. If you go to a job, you're gonna be mad if you don't get your check in 2 weeks. It's just what the deal is, and I try to explain that. So when I worked with Viacom, I basically worked with Pat Charles. Pat Charles is the creator of the BT Experience and 106 in Park.
Okay.
He wrote those shows. But when you work for like a major like that, you kind of have to like, you work for them. So you sell the idea to them and you're contracted. He worked with them for 20 years. So what he did was I scored his reality show called Icon of the Islands. It was a pilot, and then they picked it up. So that just turned into a whole situation. He didn't want to give me a chance at first because I met him through my lawyer. That's another thing, like it's expensive being in music business because my lawyer was like, to even get that negotiated was like $3,000.
Okay.
Yeah, to like just get that. And then I think I'm meeting this guy. I'm meeting him with like 4 other people. I'm like, is it that real? Met him. He didn't really believe me. And then I just sent him a whole bunch of scores, beats, different genres to show that I'm able. And he gave me a shot. He was like, you're the guy I'm looking for. I literally sound designed his whole reality show. I made the water splashing, like the water sound, because water is really white noise if you think about it.
Okay.
It's right? I made that sound. I made everything because they didn't have mics to like really record it well.
Okay.
The way they wanted to. It was a pilot at first. So I just did everything, and that actually got me to the Grammys.
Okay, let's talk about that experience.
That was
Because
crazy.
people think little old Wilmington, Delaware, and now you're at the Grammys.
Yeah, that was
like,
so.
what happened?
So me doing that for him, there were some engineers over in LA. They wanted to get to know me. So there's an engineer in Philly. He works with my lawyer as well. So we end up being in the limo going to the Grammys together, and just meeting him. And he actually works with the Roots and everything. When you get there, you're thinking like, okay, I'm at the Grammys and stuff like that. And the way it works is on the right side is all the media, and everyone that's like nominated. And on the left side is just, everyone else that's just there to participate. You have to get invited to go to the Grammys. You can't just go. So that blew my mind. I was like, I'm here. I'm there, I'm chilling. Josh Groban is right in front of me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like Diplo's walking right past me.
Oh my goodness.
I go in the bathroom.
I can't even imagine.
Kurt Franklin walking out the stall. I'm like, this is real.
Wow, it's happening.
It's crazy. And that was the daytime Grammys. A lot of people don't know that, but there's a daytime Grammys. It starts at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
And those are all like the orchestra, the best children's song, the best whatever. Kanye West had one in the daytime Grammys. He had like 20 people on it, and they have to read all the people off. So they read all the people. People just started laughing in the audience. Thought it was crazy, but that right there showed me, it gave me the confidence that it was possible. Because from where I come from, like, I didn't dream. I was trying to survive growing up. So like, for me, that was like, this is it. Like, I can make it. I'm there with all these people, like, and I know it's possible, especially starting music when I was 24. I didn't start music until I was 24.
Okay.
Somebody asked me a very basic, fundamental question, and I took heart to it. They said, what could you do every day for free? And I was like, I don't know. Like, without getting paid for it, like, what could you just do and enjoy it and not really worry about being compensated, like monetarily?
Okay.
And I didn't really know. And then he started doing some digging, hanging out with me a little bit more. He was like, I think you might have a passion for music. So like, I do love music. Like, I'm very in tune with it. I pretty much hear every instrument, every sound, everything when I hear a song. And then I just sat down with the piano, taught myself piano.
You're self-taught.
Yeah,
taught
myself piano, taught myself how to produce music with the help of other producers around me that I just watch, but no one ever really instructed me. And I feel like that's why I'm like gritty with it. That's why I'm like really, I go hard, because like when you first start, like you have to be intense.
Right.
You have to really go hard at it. And I mean, at the end of the day, it took me all the way to the Grammy. So I told myself I'm not going back until I win one. They invited me back again. And I was just
and it's possible because the amount of people you work with, the relationships in the industry that you've connected with.
Definitely. And I think the next move for me is, since I built my label and I started my publishing company, I wanna win a few with the people from here.
Right.
And it starts with, building up my personal artists, showing people that I'm capable. Because you gotta think about it, when you start something new, people don't know if you're really capable of doing it.
Right.
They believe in you and they know that you might be official in certain things, but like you said, some skills aren't transferable. Some things you just can't do in other areas, but I know I can do it. You know what I mean? So like
right.
I have artists now that I'm working with. I produce, mix, and master the song. Kitty Monroe, shout out to her. She just dropped her video yesterday. It's like her first song. I actually produced and mixed another song before that, but in music it's about timing.
Okay.
You know, that's a fall winter song. And we
Right.
just we made a summer song.
So
yeah.
let's talk about the passion, because both of you guys share this passion for music. And Kai, for you, I know you let the viewers know, because I know you told me this has always been a part of you. It's not like you're switching from a boxer to now all these lyrics are just coming out of your spirit. Like you've always had this a part of you. So tell us about that path for you.
Yeah, I mean, like I was just speaking of before, music is in everyone. And I always wrote music. I'm pretty sure everybody has at least one rap that they just tried to put together one time when they was younger. I used to do that a lot. I used to just have on my phone, listen to beats. I just see what I can do with it. I always sang, always rapped. I like all genres of music too. It's not just like hip hop music or R&B music. I have a wide range of music. I have like 200 records of just old school vinyls. You know, like I just love music so much. Where the passion comes from just being creative, like being able to like hear something, being able to manipulate it in a way where it's yours is amazing to me. And it's a feeling thing. I get in a booth, I won't even write anything. I'll just harmonize on the song and just try to feel like where the direction is going. And I always go with my first initial harmonies, like because that's the one that I felt. Right. And if I feel it, then to my people that listen to my music gonna feel it too. And it's only a matter of time. I have good music. People tell me I have good music. It's just the exposure that we have to get there, and that's what we're working on. That's why we're on it. That's why we're in focus, because
Right.
I heard that you was killing it, so we had to make it over here.
And let's talk about the exposure. I know you've worked with children in the past. You've worked at the Police Athletic League. You've provided them the opportunity to learn about music. You also brought children to your Wavlab Studios. Let's talk about a little bit of that, giving the children the exposure as well.
What really jump-started that for me was Christine Art Center. And it's funny, it's just so crazy how things work, but literally I got my certification 6 years ago. Like I literally just shared it on my Facebook.
Oh wow.
That was today I posted it on my Facebook.
Okay.
And that's what's so dope about it. Like you can reshare like the memories. I would have never known. Like, but 6 years ago, so I became an arts integrationist, which means that I had to learn like core curriculum and understand like what they're doing from pre-K up to 12, and learn like what they're doing on the national level, and then how to apply my skill set in music to them and like what they're learning in school. Because let's be honest, like no one really like loved English, science, history. You didn't love it. No. You did it. You went to school. You did what you had to do. You went home. You want to hang out with your friends. You want to go to lunch. You know what I mean? But what I try to do is I make the experience fun. He said it. Like the key of living, one of the major keys is being happy. Like no one wants to be miserable.
That's right.
And kids, like they're very in tune with that. Like they're just super intelligent, and they're very vivacious. Like they know how to read people and what is music.
Kids are they get attached to what they can see. I think a lot of times in our community, and since we're talking and we're on local news, I want to talk about our community.
Hands-on.
People, and I would say kids, they don't believe sometimes. It's hard to be able to see it because they've never been there. They don't know even know it's possible. They see these celebrities, they don't even know the road that it took for them to get there. They just see the bright lights and the cameras and stuff. And so our families are so broken and things are so messed up right now in our time. As people, it's like we gotta give them something to see. We gotta give them a vision, because if you don't have vision, then you just walking around aimlessly, not knowing what to do, just doing what you see. Everything that they're seeing is not really there. I try to my best. I do motivational speaking for boys and girls clubs and YMCA's, and basically trying to touch people, show that if you give love, then if you give love, then love is gonna be reciprocated. Like if you believe in something, it's really possible, because anything's possible, literally. And when they say that so much, anything's possible. You can do whatever you want to do. You can really do whatever you want to do.
No, that's very important.
You got to show people that.
Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
He came from nothing. I came from nothing. I'm fighting on Showtime with 2 million, 3 million viewers on national TV. I have the same manager as Floyd Mayweather, kid from Wilmington, Delaware. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like it's very possible, but you have to believe. And I want to make sure I put that in there too.
But what I like about your message is that you're not one of those people in the industry who become successful and then don't give back to the community.
Oh,
you're dabbing them up, you're talking to them, you're inspiring
you have to,
them.
because that's the reason why you can make it in the first place. You can't, because my peers drive me. You know what I mean? When I'm doing things and they're people looking up to me like, yo, Kai, keep staying in the ring. Oh, I seen your last fight. That drives me. Right. You gotta be able to give back, because that's how you got here in the first place. Somebody helped me. I didn't do it by myself. It's a team. Like people helped me. I'm one of his artists. He's helping me. And I mean, the only thing I can do is help him back, give back the same effort that somebody's giving me. That's all you can do is give effort. Effort is the most important thing. It's believing and then doing that effort. The effort part is what lacks a lot of time. People believe and then they could do it. They lack a little confidence and they don't want to give that effort. And when you give that effort, you're not going to lose, because you're going to fall. Well, if you fall, you're not going to fall as far as if you didn't try.
Right,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
If you reach high, high as you possibly can, when you fall, you're going to fall in a cloud somewhere. You're not going to fall, on the ground because you reached too high. I'm not going to be the president of the United States, but I might be a state senator, or I might be a governor, or I might even be a community activist. You know what I mean? Reach high so that you have somewhere to fall onto,
Exactly. We only have a few minutes, but can you talk a little bit about Vibe Night
Do it.
at Live Nation?
So basically, I did a project with Rock Nation, and that gave me the in with Live Nation to kind of like have a partnership. So basically, we just set up a platform. We have over 50 artists that have registered to perform. We started at the studio, like having just like vibe nights, just people come through, make beats, sing, rap, have a good time.
Right.
We have fun, but then we're still creating. We're still getting stuff down. So we were like, we need a platform. Boom. Went to the Queen and just turned it all the way up.
It's happening every month. Might be twice a month.
Lit.
Yeah.
It might be twice a month. It's lit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a whole situation.
We had 200-something people there last time.
But like you said, you're giving your exposure and opportunity for people who never would have thought that this dream could be
building
reality.
A culture of something that's creative and innovative, something that's different.
Which is missing here in Wilmington.
Yes. And there's some movers and shakers out here. Shout out to Dom Draper, you know what I mean, Rich Raw. Like there's some people out here that's like in the community doing their thing, and I feel like it's our responsibilities as
to support one another too.
Big time. We're here. We got to go in. If we have the knowledge, if we have the motivation, set it up. Everything else will come together after that.
And anything else you want to say before we leave? Because I know you guys are two inspiring individuals who are doing big things here.
Saturday,
vibe night. Be there.
The whole situation.
It's gonna be fun.
Right.
I don't know if you can tell. And go to the website.
They can't really tell. We're on TV, so I can't really tell them how it's going to get. But it's going to be lit.
If you can't make it out Saturday, remember, there's more that's coming up.
Oh, yeah, there's more
next
coming
month,
up.
month after that. This is not something you're going to miss out on. We just want you to be a part of the experience and, experience the energy, because it's going to be very live.
Yes.
But remember, the information's here. And
but at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of positivity. Great atmosphere, a great place to network and just be who you are.
There's 50 artists that signed up, so you can network and meet people and have fun and learn.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen.
problem.
I mean, there's so much that we can discuss, but I do like the opportunity that was given here for you to discuss how everyone's coming together, supporting each other. You're giving the local artists here in Delaware a platform, and now they're making it to the Queen. So it's from Wavlab Studios to now the Queen, which is major.
Yes.
And it's right here in Wilmington, Delaware.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Geronimo. And thank you, Kai. Shut it down, Davis.
You're welcome.
And on behalf of all of us here at WITN 22, I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras, and thank you for watching.